And it's a diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.
It's a diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling premise. We call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it, and then you write it, and they'll see. It's reported in the press. They have that validation that the press reported that smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press report on the smear that we made. It's a tactic, and it's self-evidence. In 2018, Trump calls the Stormy Daniels story just another witch hunt in the never-ending attempt to bring him down. The country was becoming energy independent, free from globalism, and the media did everything in its power to psyop the people into hating him. And with a few people, like probably Scott Hall, it's worked. The country was, it's just so obvious that he's been over the target this entire time. No president has gone through more persecution than Donald Trump, and you have to ask yourself why. This country is right now running so smooth, and to be bringing up witch hunts all the time. That's all you want to talk about. It's a diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling premise. We call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it, and then you write it, and they'll see. It's reported in the press. They have that validation that the press reported that smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press report on the smear that we made. It's a tactic, and it's self-evidence. Trump haven't changed our story on Stormy Daniels.
We're not changing any stories. All I'm telling you is that this country is right now running so smooth. And to be bringing up that kind of crap and to be bringing up witch hunts all the time, that's all you want to talk about. You're going to see, excuse me.
You did not know
no, but you have to, excuse me, you take a look at what I said. You go back and take a look. You'll see what I said.
You said no.
Excuse me. You go take a look at what we said.
Trump's lawyer on the possible precedent being set. This will be the first time ever, if they do go ahead, that a former president has been indicted. Number 2, somebody gets charged with being extorted because that is actually what happened. She wanted payments. She wanted hush money payments. This is somebody who creates a story, goes to the press, gets paid by his old attorney who's a total criminal and was actually jailed.
It's kind of par for the course, as you said. I'm not as panicked as the media likes to make this. We knew that they had a DA. We have another Michael Cohen special that's happening here. And this will be the first time ever, if they do go ahead and try and indict a former president. Number 1, that a former president's been indicted, which is a sad day in our country. And number 2, that somebody gets indicted and gets charged with being extorted, because that is actually what happened. Let's remember that she wanted payments, hush money payments, they call them. This is something that a lot of people have gone through when somebody sues them and then they settle a case. But this is somebody who creates a story, goes and tries to go to the press, gets paid by his old attorney who advised him so. And that, let's not forget, there was an attorney involved here who did the payment, and orchestrated it. Mr. Cohen, lovely face. Can't wait to see him in court again soon. But
okay, let's keep going. Stormy Daniels told Anderson Cooper that she was threatened in 2011 to leave Trump alone, but did not go to the police. Why? She then goes on to continue talking about how much money she could have made. I believe without a shadow of a doubt in my heart that I was doing the right thing, and some people don't believe I have one of those. I turned down a lot of money. I did not want my family and child exposed to what she's being exposed to, all the things she's being exposed to now, and guess what? I don't have $1 million. Awkward laugh.
For sitting here talking to me today, you could be fined $1 million. I mean, aren't you taking a big risk?
I am.
I guess I'm not 100% sure on why you're doing this.
Because it was very important to me to be able to defend myself. I was in a parking lot going to a fitness class with my infant daughter. I was taking, the seats facing backwards in the back seat, diaper bag, getting all the stuff out. And a guy walked up on me and said to me, leave Trump alone, forget the story. And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, a beautiful little girl, it'd be a shame if something happened to her mom. And then he was gone.
Did you go to the police?
No.
Why?
Because I was scared. I believe without a shadow of a doubt in my heart, and some people argue that I don't have one of those, but whatever, that I was doing the right thing. I turned down a large payday multiple times because, one, I didn't want to kiss and tell and be labeled all the things that I'm being labeled now. I didn't want to take away from the legitimate and legal, I'd like to point out, career that I've worked very hard to establish. And most importantly, I did not want my family and my child exposed to all the things that she's being exposed to right now. Because everything that I was afraid of coming out has come out anyway. And guess what? I don't have $1 million.
So you signed and released a statement that said, I'm not denying this affair because I was paid in hush money. I'm denying it because it never happened. That's a lie.
Yes.
If it was untruthful, why did you sign it?
Because they made it sound like I had no choice.
I mean, no one was putting a gun to your head.
Not physical violence, no.
You thought that there would be some sort of legal repercussion if you didn't sign it.
Correct. As a matter of fact, the exact sentence used was, they can make your life hell in many different ways.
They being?
I'm not exactly sure who they were. I believe it to be Michael Cohen.
The president watches 60 Minutes. If he's watching tonight, what would you say to him?
He knows I'm telling the truth.
BS. Okay. The irony of criminal liar Michael Avenatti going on a media tour showing looking for a thug that supposedly threatens Stormy Daniels. Since you released the sketch, tons of people have called, we have 1,000 leads, but we're being super careful. We aren't just going to rush to judgment. That would be irresponsible. So I guess they never found the guy, did they? Imagine my shock.
The sketch, and the number was something like 1-800 if you're a thug, call me or something, right?
No, it was.
What was it?
No,
I'm not that far off.
No. The 1-800 if you're a thug, call me. That's Michael Cohen's phone number.
No, I think he's 1-800 Legal Defense Fund. But no, since you released the sketch, tons of people called. I remember you guys announced the number on The View,
By
right?
email. Actually, it was an email. Yes.
What was the address?
Yes.
Just in case anyone.
idthethug@gmail.com.
Okay, I wasn't that far off. Where is the investigation into identifying the man in the sketch?
There have been literally thousands of leads that have been obtained from that sketch release and from the press that followed. We're running all of those to ground. It's taken an enormous amount of time. We have narrowed the field, in my view. I think that there's a handful of very, very credible leads, and we're confident that it's going to lead to one of those individuals. But we are being super diligent and very, very careful in the way that we're going about this because of the seriousness involved. We're not just going to rush to judgment and release this and identify someone. I mean, that would be irresponsible, and you could potentially ruin somebody's life. So we want to be careful about it.
The sketch, and the number was.
Stormy Daniels' attorney says she took a lie detector test in 2011 to prove she was telling the truth. She took the test 7 years ago, but waited until 2018 to publish the article. Why? Because Trump needed to be shut down by the deep state, and this was just another avenue by which they could pursue that goal.
And the porn star who alleges she had an affair with the president took a lie detector test in 2011 to prove she was telling the truth. Stormy Daniels' attorney released this file photo. She's also suing the president to get out of a non-disclosure agreement. Daniels took the test 7 years ago after she was interviewed about the alleged affair. In Touch magazine waited until this year to publish the article. The polygraph test examiner believed Daniels was telling the truth when she said she had sexual relations with Trump in 2006.
Even if it were true, how many people has Biden slept with? Like, he's messed with children. How many people did Clinton sleep with? Even if it was true. Stormy Daniels says she wasn't in it for the money, but then received a huge book deal worth $800,000. And get this, Michael Avenatti went on to supposedly steal $300,000 of those dollars that he spent on a Ferrari and plane tickets. Did I mention she bagged a reality TV show? But I thought she wasn't in it for the money.
Through it all, Avenatti was at her side. During her time in the spotlight, Stormy Daniels secured a huge $800,000 book deal. Avenatti is now accused of stealing $300,000 of that amount by forging Stormy's signature. Prosecutors say he spent the money on a $3,900 a month Ferrari car lease, plane fares, and fancy restaurants. Avenatti is acting as his own attorney, and during today's cross-examination, he grilled Stormy about her beliefs in the paranormal, as seen in her new reality show, Spooky Babes. Through it all,
Showing off her new lucrative book, full disclosure, Stormy Daniels says that doing porn is just like any other job. She then boasts about her new opportunities as a porn director and the awards she was getting. I'm sure this has nothing to do with the fact that she went out against Trump and was rewarded accordingly, though.
I heard knocking. I heard scratching.
Let people over know. What is your name? Give me your name now!
Hold on the window, Dave!
Going back in the case.
Yes, and I'll like pull the heart chakra.
Oh, she loves you.
Probably get smacked in the back of the head. You'll probably just crash.
I totally fucking saw something.
Blood ran down the walls.
In 2019, Stormy Daniels even began a comedy tour. Now, I'm not making this up. Some comedians at the time were offended by the obvious cash grab and spoke about it plainly. I'm noticing a theme here: cash grabs and fame.
So but it does seem a little bit of a leap for most people to go from stripping to porn. And, I don't know. I've watched Stormy's porn, and it's really good. She knows what she's doing. She's very good. Did you enjoy it from the beginning?
You know what? I'm not going to lie and be like, oh my God, it's so awesome. It's just like any other job. You got to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. When you live in LA, that means you got to get up at 6 because traffic, and you have to go even on days you don't want. Some days are great. You have this really hot chick or this really hot guy and you're feeling beautiful and you're into it and the chemistry's good. And other days you're like, oh, I'm on my period.
She's just trash, guys. Just trash. Stormy Daniels praised as a hero as she makes money off her book and porn directing.
Stormy Daniels, who, in addition to continuing her fight against the president, is now trying something new. She's going to do stand-up comedy. She's announced she's going to be doing a few shows. I don't know that she has any chops in comedy, but she obviously thinks she does, so she's going to try this.
Stormy Daniels is starting her stand-up comedian career. You have any advice for her? How to
She should
be a good
change the
stand-up?
name of that to Public Speaking Tour.
Why is that?
Because I'm not a porn star if I just make a video of me someone. I just made a video. She's not a comedian. Hey man, no more power to her. She's making money off.
Is it insulting to comics that she's doing this?
I mean, I don't care, but yeah, I definitely know comedians that are insulting. It's literally one of the hardest things, but people will be like, I failed at everything else. Might as well start stand-up, and it just makes no sense.
So you think it's like not only insulting, but kind of a money grab for her? Because
it's definitely a money grab. Yeah, people will go. And she got then she'll get That's for sure.
Anybody think she has any credibility at this point? And yeah, she's worried about her kid, isn't she? It's become so much bigger and unexpected. People are calling me crazy things like a hero. I don't remember a burning building, but okay, it's really hard to carry all that and feel responsible for all that. I don't know. I just do what I do, I guess. After praising communist Justin Trudeau, Seth Rogen talks to a delighted Ellen about Stormy Daniels on her Epstein Island-themed set. She was in 2 of his movies. So I'm sure she's not in it for the money at all. And she supposedly told Seth about the affair long ago. And she's doing so well for herself now. Hey, Ellen, why does your set look like Epstein Island? Pedo Wood and gun expert Alex Baldwin went on to push this hoax into the consciousness of the masses. This is the definition of a wrap-up smear. And they did this on a nearly daily basis to Donald Trump. I truly do not believe we've seen someone receive more slings and arrows by the establishment in modern history than Donald Trump. In this skit, they told us exactly their goal. What do you need for this to all go away? A resignation. They needed to stop Trump at all cost.
Cohen, are you alone?
Yes.
And what are you wearing?
Excuse me?
Okay, Michael, I can take it from here.
Okay, but as your attorney, I highly advise against you.
I'm not even going to give that anymore. but you get the difference. You get the picture. Remember when they attempted to shut down Trump's Supreme Court justice pick with a so-called Me Too moment? It's very similar in its nature. Play off the ignorance of the sheep's understanding of the hidden war happening and use the wrap-up smear in an attempt to block Kavanaugh from even entering into that position of power. There's no shady tactic that the deep state will not use. Once you are awake to it, there's no going back. It all becomes so clear. Guys, they can't put us back to sleep. Stormy Daniels loses a defamation case and is ordered to pay $550,000 to Donald Trump, but refuses. Calls our justice system an effing disgrace and copes. He just got another $250,000 because Avenatti effed up the paperwork. Now I'm getting shit on all over again. He's allowed to tweet whatever he wants. It also proves that our justice system is a complete disgrace. That I agree with. But in her case, they did the right thing. Stormy Daniels was just one of the many attacks that 45 has received over the years, whether it was framing him for treason or the continual mockery of those in the CIA-infested media or Hollywood. He's been brutally attacked for simply trying to make America great again. I leave you with an excerpt of this poignant post of our favorite Anon about why Donald Trump put himself through this hell when he didn't need to. For the coming days ahead, ask yourself an honest question. Why would a billionaire who has it all, fame, fortune, a warm and loving family, friends, etc., want to endanger himself and his family by becoming POTUS? Why would he want to target himself and those he cares about? Does he need money? No. Does he need fame? No, he had that. What does he get out of this? Does he want to make the U.S. and world a better place for his family and for those good and decent people who have long been taken advantage of? Perhaps he could not stomach the thoughts of mass murders occurring to satisfy Moloch. Perhaps he could not stomach the thought of children being kidnapped, drugged, and raped, while leaders, law enforcement of the world turn a blind eye. And I might say participate in it too. Perhaps he was tired of seeing how certain races and countries were being constantly abused and kept in need, poor, and suffering, all for a specific purpose. Perhaps he could not in good conscience see the world burn. He got attacked by Boston Globe, Entertainment Industry, ABC, New York Times, Clinton Machine, Globalist Elite, Special Interests, Univision, United Nations, Wall Street, NBC, White House, Politico, CNBC, Washington Post, CBS, CNN, and GOP elites.